And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another month-end edition here of the CranKy Epic Series. CranKy Epic Series number, I was going to say number 8. Oh, let me just double check that. Look at that. Number 8, your monthly dose of StarCraft Evolution content. Welcome one all. I'm of course your VIP. With you, I'm joined by these amazing players and of course by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one all to something a little bit different here. Again, unfortunately, we have not been able to cover much StarCraft Evolution as of late. On the one hand, there was a big hiatus. There was a big off-season for SC Evo due to the arcade not being available and not being able to update in the arcade. Of course, that has since changed. But there was a big period, a big window where that was not the case, where again there were no updates and no tournaments as a result of that, but that has since changed. On top of that, we were catching up with all the other premier events, with Home Story Cup, Little League Cup, Rongi Cup, alongside RSL, and I feel like I'm forgetting one, Thunderfire, that's it, and Thunderfire as well. There was just so many big premier major events going on in January and February. Finally, in March, we can slow things down a little bit, catch up with all the weeklies, and catch up with some SC Evo content as well. We do plan on hosting and casting some more StarCraft Evolution over the next couple of weeks with SC Evo number 19, 20, 21, and also SCL Doubles, which is a 2v2 tournament that did pop up, and looks like that we're going to have another one later on in the month as well, later on in April. So a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. Very quickly touching on this, if you're maybe tuning in for the first time, because we usually do cast SC Evo at a more NA friendly time. I will say that usually it's a little bit more in the Americas friendly time slots. But SC Evo StarCraft Evolution is a mod that does pit together Brood War versus StarCraft 2. It is only balanced and only does cater that kind of style as well. Bear that in mind. So you do not see Brood War versus Brood War. You do not see StarCraft 2 versus StarCraft 2. The game is not balanced for Brood War versus Brood War. There are some tournaments that feature it, but that's not the main goal of the balance team and of the patches that do occur as well. Bearing in mind this mod is relatively regularly updated and patched as well when it comes to trying to adjust to any kind of issues when it comes to the meta and when it comes to any dominant builds which do occur from time to time. There's a lot to get into when it comes to StarCraft Evolution. But before we get into the big show match, again, when it comes to the CranKy Epic Series, it is going to be a best of 9 between Classic and Beyond. We will get there. For now, we have a bit of an appetizer. We have a ZaRDieNT show match, a 2v2 show match here, a bit of an appetizer, a bit of an opener. It is going to be ZaRDieNT and DefMars versus MilkiCow and iosup. Oh boy, here we go. So this is going to be an SC Evo 2v2 best of 7 show match between these 4 players. Then once we wrap this up, then we can head into the main course. We can head and sink our teeth into the TVP between best of 9 between Beyond and Classic. Oh boy. Here we go. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever casted SC Evo 2v2. Tournaments have been occurring in SC Evo for 2v2 for the past year, but usually it's not in like the foreign community. Usually it's like in the more CIS community. There's been a lot of CIS 2v2 tournaments with StarCraft Evolution, which we have not been able to cover ourselves and cast ourselves. But regardless, we do have this best of 7 show match. I'm ready to jump in. Oh boy, I don't really know what to expect out of this, especially because when it comes to 2v2, I'm also a little bit out of the loop. When it comes to the Thermal 2v2 circuit, we did cast it last year, but this year, we have not been casting any of it, just because we've been, again, as I mentioned, we've been casting all these other events, and we've been, of course, adminning and running those tournaments, haven't been able to cast them ourselves, unfortunately, so a little bit limited when it comes to my 2v2 current meta knowledge, but let's go, let's jump in. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun regardless. Let's go. It's going to be jumping into game 1. Game 1 is going to be on Undercurrent. Was wondering why I haven't seen Evo for a long time, thought it wasn't popular enough. No, as I mentioned, like, it was just a big off-season, big hiatus in regards to StarCraft Evolution, and again, we just didn't have the time, the free time on our schedule to jump into it either. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our initial duo here. We have the purple Terran player representing 3D Clan. It is MilkiCow alongside his teammates, alongside iosup. Here we go. We have Brood War Terran and SC2 Zerg. Meanwhile, in the top right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the red Brood War Terran. We have the orange SC2 Protoss. It is DefMars and ZaRDieNT. Here we go. So we have our 2v2. We have our, also very quickly, this is going to be a best of 7. A best of 7 2v2 show match. let's go. Now, I'm curious what the maps are going to be. I do know that a bunch of Brood War maps have been ported over into StarCraft 2 for the purpose of StarCraft Evolution, but I don't think there's been an initiative for Brood War 2v2 maps to be ported over. So I believe it is going to be just the standard SE2 map pool. We'll see as we progress through the map pool, through the series. For now, it is going to be Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of iosup, but likewise, we do have our racks expand out of MilkiCow going for the pocket expansion. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Do have ZaRDieNT going for the forward base himself, meanwhile, it instead is going to be iosup going for the forward expansion. This does make more sense for the Zerg player just because Zerg does need to spread creep, and if they take the pocket base, then they're going to be limiting themselves when it comes to their own presence and creep spread on the map. So forward bases make more sense for Zerg in 2v2s. Meanwhile, when it comes to our Brood War compatriots here, we'll see if we go into bio or mech. Already, second racks is on the way. Okay, a much more aggressive build going into a 3-racks opener. This has been very prevalent, very common. We should be seeing an academy alongside this to get into Stim. For those who are unaware, add-ons do exist in Brood War, but add-ons are a little bit different. You know, like machine shops are a thing, or like the nuke silos are a thing as well. But there's no like reactor, there's no tech lab for the Raxes themselves. So no add-ons here, but we should be seeing an academy to get into the upgrades to get into Stim and U23 get shells. There it is, there's the academy. Now these 3-rack Stim timings are very popular and very dominant in the StarCraft Evolution meta, to the point where this build has been nerfed and patched like 5 different times over the past year. Like like this specific Stim timing when it comes to like Stim research time, Stim cost, when it comes to marine research time, marine cost, marine attack range, attack speed as well, medic health and medic durability, medic healing rates. Like again, like there's just been so many patches targeting this specific build over the past year, just because it's still quite prevalent. It's still quite prevalent despite all the adjustments, of course. Bearing in mind that with the arrival of the academy, you can start to make medics. Now, Brood War Terran is a little bit different compared to SE. I mean, it's very different compared to SE2 Terran. As we just mentioned here, the power and the strength and the reason why these 3-racks hit so hard is because you do not need a starport for supportive units. You don't have to tech up into a factory and into a starport to make medevacs. In Brood War, you just need the academy and bam, you can make medics. That's why these 3-racks do hit harder in Brood War than they do in StarCraft 2. But as we can see here, it is going to be, we've been fixating a lot on our purple Terran, but across the map we do have ZaRDieNT, he's going into mech. Okay, second factory on the way. We do have our machine shops getting into spider mines, getting into siege mode. Remember, siege mode does have the resource for your tanks, and we're building up into our own mech setup. So very different kind of approaches when it comes to our Terran players here. Rax is going to be floating. On top of that, I don't see any medics here. That tells me that MilkiCow is not pushing. He zones away the initial scout, the initial overlord, or Rax overlord, if you will. But we're building up in towards a longer game. So we do have iosup just getting another expansion, claiming a third base, and likewise we should be seeing a third base from MilkiCow as well. This is no strong timing attack. We're just building up bio and expanding. We're getting into a macro game. Meanwhile, across the map, it is going to be a double Stargate into double Phoenix production. So Mass Phoenix, Mass Skytoss out of DefMars, and a mech out of our Terran player. This is like traditional 2v2. For those that are curious, for a very, very long time in the 2v2 meta, the best way to play 2v2 was Skytoss plus mech. Right, Skytoss and mech, they complement each other very, very nicely, and they build up into a death pool of a late game army, and this can just roll people over. Like it's a dominant force that you kind of work towards. I say previously in the meta because in current times, in current StarCraft, especially with the change of the resource tax mod and with more players playing 2v2, this style has been less common and less prevalent in regular SE2 2v2. But this is StarCraft Evolution, and I will say that mech here is a little more viable, a lot stronger, a little more well-rounded here for Brood War. You can get away with this. Things they move in. They move in, they get one overlord. So far, so good. No Phoenixes have gone down. We have ion thrusters on the way. That is going to be, of course, I almost said Cyclone. Vulture speed. Meanwhile, here come the first wave of medics. Phoenixes are just harassing, poking in, finding whatever they can. Overlords, drones, medevacs. Oh, sorry, no medevacs, dropships. Whatever they can find. Ooh, turret does take down one of the Phoenixes. One Phoenix is full. At the same time, we do have a Vulture setting up in the center of the map. Spider mines being thrown down. For those who are maybe unfamiliar with the Vulture units here, Widow mines don't exist. Instead, we have Spider mines. They're a little bit different. They're one use. So once they get spent, they're one and done sort of thing. The Vulture does have a limited amount of charges within them to throw down a limited amount of Spider mines. So the Vultures, they're laying down those mines. Ooh, diving into the mineral line, and we do get one drone. One drone goes down, not quite worth it here. The other difference as well is before the spider mine engages and before it attacks, as MilkiCow does scan for the mines, but before it attacks they do unburrow, and that is when they are vulnerable. You can kill spider mines before they engage. Speaking of, yep, gets one, gets two. You do not need scans, right? You don't need scans. As long as your attack rate is high enough, you can focus down all those mines before they do hit. Of course, when you move into a clump of them, you can maybe kill 1, 2, 3, but some of them may still connect. As he scans, he does not see. Ooh, baits out one of the mine shots. Calm down, MilkiCow. Calm down. Killed iousup's leg. Here we're setting up our siege line. Carrier production has begun. As we mentioned, like the Sky Toss is the end game, the end goal here for DefMars. And ZaRDieNT, he has built up his tanks. Breaking this siege line without Ghost is going to be insanely difficult. Ghost, they do have their disable ability. So in SE2, you have Ravens that can disable. In Brood War, it's the Ghost. The Ghost does have lockdown. And that's usually how you break these siege lines, is you go in with your Ghost, you go in with your lockdowns. Of course, the other option is, because this is 2v2, we could see Viper tech, right? We could see Vipers come in, and Vipers can mass blinding cloud. That'll be another option. Oh, as all the spider mines do get cleaned up. Very close. Very close, very clutch. We're going into Microbial Shroud. Okay. It's interesting. Huh. I mean, I say that. I was going to say, like, I don't really like the idea of, like, seeing Hydras and Microbial Shroud against Sky Toss, but Microbial Shroud can actually work quite well to supporting the Marines. Right? You just Microbial Shroud the Marines, you Microbial Shroud of the Bio Army, and then they can hold their own a little bit better against the Sky Toss. So I do like the idea of supporting your teammate. But we're just taking a bit of a direction. We have the Spire on the way. We have the Ultra Cabinet on the way. We do have Goliath amassing up for our Terran player. Goliaths are coming online. Oh wait, no, sorry. MilkiCow is switching into Goliath. He's going Marine Goliath. Okay. I mean, that's going to be his answer to the Sky Toss. I'm a little bit concerned because of the lack of Ghosts. Again, Ghosts just add so much utility to this army. Ghosts are they're pretty solid in Brood War. But, yeah, we have not embraced them. The other thing, of course, Science Vessel. We spoke earlier how, like, in Brood War, the Ghost has the disable instead of the Raven. Likewise, in Brood War, the Science Vessel has the EMP instead of the Ghost. So if you want EMPs, you're going to get your Science Vessels up. Oh my god. So I'll be honest, I'm not too fond of the composition that MilkiCow is building up, right? It feels very one note, and it feels very, it doesn't really have that much potential as a result of that. It's just pure marine medic Goliath. Like, there's not a lot of complexity here. I would say the ceiling is quite low for what this army can accomplish. We'll see. Meanwhile, Radiate has begun for ZaRDieNT. That's going to be ideal against the Bio. Think of a Radiate kind of like Parasitic Bomb, kind of, where it does land on a unit. The difference, though, is that when the unit that gets targeted by an Irradiate dies, that will eliminate the Irradiate. The reason why I bring that up is because for Parasitic Bomb, the bomb stays. Where you can, like, Parabomb a Muta, you kill the Muta, and then the Parabomb is still like an active AoE in the sky. Here, if the unit that gets irradiated is killed, then the Irradiate dissipates. Because of that, it is very common to see, like, counter micro. Like, if you're playing, if say like a Marine or say like a tank gets irradiated, it's not uncommon for the Terran player to just kill their own unit. Just kill their own units to just end the Irradiate. So there's a kind of counterplay available. Ooh. So far, nice trades here, collapsing into the vultures. Tempests are amassing. The Sky Toss is getting there. It's still not, G10 carriers. It's very carrier heavy. Meanwhile, I was praising iosup for getting into Microbial Shroud. He does have 3 Infestors. We got 2 Vipers as well. But have our blue team, have they been too passive here? Fungo does graze the army. Catching a couple of vultures. Again, I'm still not entirely convinced by what MilkiCow has. So there's a couple of Valkyries, which helps. That is like splash damage anti-air. Valkyries, they can be nice to get against the interceptors. But this is a very A-move army. And there is a chance that maybe we can find some units unsieged and like find a better angle of attack. Specifically, like I'm picturing a world where this army rotates, hugs the right-hand side of the map, and then bam, hits the space here, pushes up here as well. You know, these tanks will be out of position. Like there is a way here towards the right-hand side of the map if we really wanted to. Speaking of A-move, likewise, very ultra heavy. Like like it feels like both iosup and MilkiCow, they just want to dive. Like they just want to pick a target, like pick an area, mass blinding cloud, microbial shroud, and then just commit. And just ape in. And I don't really know how much success that's gonna have, to be honest. DefMars, at this point I would say he has too many Phoenixes, but I think he's already lost most of them. Nah, he still has 10. Like we could throw away these Phoenixes and just rebuild more Tempest. Or even just build up more High Templar and more Storm support. Remember, Storm is done. So I would say that these Phoenixes, they've ran out of their usefulness here. They can help a little bit, of course, adding DPS against the Valkyries, and they can lift some high-tech units, but I mean, they can't lift Ultras. And ideally, your Tempest is going to be sniping the Vipers anyway. Oh, they radiate! Yeah, science doesn't ever extend. 1 vessel goes down. Yeah, nice pick up there with the Valkyries. Let's catch the vessel. Again, the meching army is spread thin, bear that in mind. That'll be one big difference when it comes to this fight, is that when it comes to our blue team, they both have their entire armies here together. Meanwhile, ZaRDieNT's army is spread. Nice abductions, gets 2. Has to spend a lot of abductions though. Kaji had only 1 Tempest goes down. That was 4. That was 4 abductions. As again, vultures, they do not trigger the spider mines. Vultures technically hover, and these are like pressure sensitive. Ooh. Catching an ultra. Ultra goes down. Irradiate's coming in. Very nice. Irradiate's here. It radiates on the Corruptor, on the Infestor, on the Ultra as well. Nice damage. Infestor goes down. But again, these Ultras are the ideal targets for the Irradiate, because Ultras, they are so tanky. So, I mean, the amount of damage it's dealt here, it's not much higher. Again, if you irradiate a Marine or if you irradiate a Zergling, then the Irradiate dissipates quite quickly because of the low HP pool. Oh, the brutal OST. Oh no! Gets another science vessel. Another vessel goes down. We're just going mass Valkyrie, by the way. Like those are the only reinforcements for MilkiCow. Now, at this point, we're hitting critical mass of Valkyrie. We can potentially, if we stack up these Valkyries and send out a volley, can we start one-shotting carriers? Like, can we? Like the Valkyrie burst damage is crazy. Not just that, I'm thinking like Valkyrie burst damage plus EMP, right? There are 2 science vessels. If we can land 1 big EMP here, this can work. Oh, the defense matrix. Oof. Does get feedback. EMP does land. It does land on the Tempest. There's a fungal, but there's no follow-up. And up. Valkyries 8, they threaten to dive. They bait out a storm. Tanks are moving in on the right-hand side, and these bases are vulnerable. Once again, there's an abduction, but there's no follow-up. Oh no, he commits! No! Gets one, gets two! Takes down 2 carriers. Storm does zone away. A bit of a waste of a powerbomb there on the Phoenix. But those were nice pickups. Oh, that does not show. But I believe it was 2 carriers, right? Sorry, it was 1 carrier and a Tempest. Bottom right goes down. Oh, sorry, as we dove in with the irradiates. In my brain, I thought these were enemy science vessels. My apologies. Does land a couple of irradiates here. Not bad. Again, there's not really any corruptors. It's mainly an ultra spellcaster army. As bottom right is fully under control of ZaRDieNT. Tanks are moving in. Finding another expansion. This is getting a little bit dangerous here when it comes to how many resources are available for the blue team. These tanks are caught out. Yeah, nice cleanup here, catching out all 5 tanks. And these ultras can clean up at bottom right as well. It's going to be messy as there's a lot of cannons, but it doesn't go for it. At the same time, yeah, Skytoss, they take down top left. When it comes to resources, as you can see, when it comes to the banks, ZaRDieNT and DefMars, they have massive banks available. They've just been so efficient. Not just that, though, they do have more bases. Straight up, they've taken more bases. They have more resources available. This is why I'm very concerned here for the blue team just in the long run. They cannot remax anywhere near as often. Ultras, they finally head bottom right. Again, it's going to be a messy trade here. We'll see if any Ultras go down to the cannons. There come the lightning clouds. And Ultras, they will clean this up. Yeah, and an Ultra should not go down here. At the same time, Skytoss pushes forward. And the mech for ZaRDieNT does rotate to the center. Tempest are exposed. Valkyrie's coming in. Up! The Tempest! No, no! He gets him! He gets one! Gets one. Storms do zone. Just one. Just one Tempest. Valkyries are zoned away. The base goes down. Now we have 2 potentially exposed expansions here for the opposing team, for the red team. Messy movement out of ZaRDieNT. Messy movement. Oh god! Oh, we irradiate everything! Jesus! Yeah, massive radius. The ultras, they're so low. The splits are not there. Yeah, the splits were not there. Mass damage here on the Zerg army. Oof. That was what, 4 or 5 irradiates? I want to say around 4. Ay, ay, ay. And even though this army is still alive, it is very, very battered and bruised. Bearing in mind, ZaRDieNT, he actually kept he kept these science houses alive. Still alive. Looks like our red team is rotated to the center. We're pushing in. Again, the Zerg army is weak. A lot of it's going to come down to the power bombs, the abductions, to the spellcaster usage, and to the Valkyries, of course. But also remember, Valkyries don't shoot down. Oh, Storm lands. Storm does land. MilkiCow does have. Oh, does get feedbacked. Storm's once again zoning him back. Ultras, they try to go for the dive. They cannot. Another radiate. Yeah, massive radiates. Decent power bombs. We go for the defense matrix. Oh, the powerbomb damage does do quite a bit though. But ZaRDieNT splits. Yeah, he does split off. This guy's just raining down here on the armies. The sky tells back. Oh god. And now we commit. Yeah, we just ain't moving in. We commit. It's all or nothing. Takes down a couple of Tempest. No storms. Decent fungal, and the Valkyries are going to clean everything up. The Valkyries, they're going to clean everything up. They break through the carriers, they break through the Tempest. What about everything else, though? Again, Valkyries don't shoot down the tanks. like you get, it's great. He resets the Sky Toss. That's cool and all. But here comes the mech army. Here comes the Stalker reinforcements instead. Yeah, we're going for the Stalker switch. A couple of tanks get called out. There's only 2 ultras. Down to 1. Down to 0. Down to 0. And again, this is just dead supply here. Too many Valkyries. Dead supply. We got 15 ultras in production. Let's go. That will be enough. We need those ultras. And I say that. Oof. Yeah, 1 ultra goes down. Another expansion falls. Ultras are taking a lot of hits. They're being camped. Wait, camper the production, camper the ultras. No ultras denied. Oof. Yeah, at the same time, we do have the mech army pushing in. The mech army overextends. Yeah, it does overextend. Massive radiate. Yeah, radiates are nice. Goliaths, they try to kite away. But the ultras, they do outflank. They break through. They break through the mech army here. That's so many Goliaths going down. Can we bait him through the minefield? The minefield. Not quite. Don't need it. Yeah, the ultras get cleaned up, and with that, Team Red should overwhelm. As every ultra falls, there's still a siege line. There's still a minefield as well. Again, the ground switch, Pappy. There's still a couple units in the sky. They're just trickling in, but GG gets called, and ZaRDieNT and DefMars, they take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. They do claim a lead in the series, but remember, this is a best of 7. Best of 7 here. And once again, winding it back, the idea of going into mech, into Sky Toss, that is kind of like the ideal, the, you know, final boss kind of late game composition in 2v2. We did see, unfortunately, a Bioterran play instead. Bioterran with, of course, Mass Ultra Spellcaster had some potential. The biggest thing that was really hindering and hurting MilkiCow and iosup were, of course, their inability to defend their bases and their inability to counterattack. Typically, they should have the more mobile composition, but very, very rarely do we ever see them counterattack and try to hit some of the fringe bases and try to stifle the economy of the meching Terran and of the Skytoss Protoss. They were freely expanding, and there wasn't really much pressuring those fringe expansions. So I would say that was kind of the biggest issue there, is that there was nothing, or is that they were unable to slow down the expansion rate of the opposing team. And then they built up a more efficient army and a greater bank as well. So, I mean, what could you do against that? GG. GG, well played. With that, ZaRDieNT and DefMars take a lead in the series. Now we're going to be loading in game number 2. Going to be loading into Rust Buckets. Let's go. Yeah. Let us go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Rust Bucket, we have our Brood War Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing 3D Clan. It is MilkiCow. Alongside his teammate, the SC2 Zerg player, the purple Zerg, also for 3D Clan, it is iosup. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have their opposing team. We have the orange SC2 Protoss. We have the Brood War Red Terran. It is ZaRDieNT and DefMars. Let's go. Let us go. Welcome one and all to Rust Bucket. Rust Bucket is another interesting 2v2 map. I would say this is going to be favoring Skytoss and Mech even more. What do I mean by that? Well, we have a shared natural, so we can just naturally just expand here at our natural location and secure this position. The other scary thing, though, we have a pocket third expansion. We have the pocket third here for DefMars, pocket third for, sorry, I should say we have one pocket expansion, so one player gets a free third base, but I would say that this base here is also pretty well defended as well, right? So to be able to expand towards the left-hand side, to only have one attack path, there's only one attack path here that has to be defended and one attack path here. So there's 2 ways into 6 bases. So a very turtle-friendly map, very turtle-friendly. More so than the previous map as well. So yeah, the pressure's gonna be on our blue team, and it's gonna be difficult. Let's go. For now, once again, we're going for the racks. Expand into a... Sorry, I think that's CC first, my apologies. CC first into a 3-rack setup. Once again, going 3-rack stim. Same opener here for MilkiCow. And Hatch Gas Pool out of our Zerg player. Now, do we expect Skytoss and Mech again? I would say yes. Like, honestly, there's not really much reason to deviate. As I mentioned, in my opinion, I do feel like this map is even better for turtling up as well. Oh, boy. Buenos dias, like that. Buenos dias. Just catching up with the chat. Here we go. So just making sure we're set up everywhere. Beautiful. Yes, from here we are just securing our own expansions. We do have our pocket base taken from DefMars as is our natural. Here we're rolling up, we're setting up. And we have iosup expanding towards his opponent. Taking that forward third. Any other distinct features here? Not really. There aren't any high yield expansions, high yield bases. The center of the map is interesting. It can be opened up. It is a relatively open center once the rocks get knocked down, for sure. So there are ways to surround or to engage. I will say, okay. So I will say, even though this map is more defendable, and I can see players taking their third bases quite easily, the fourth base is more exposed, and the center of the map is very open as well. So pushing for a meching and Skytoss player, there's a higher chance he gets surrounded. There's a higher chance you get surrounded. There's a higher chance you do get out positioned out and outflanked. So in that sense, that will be working in favor of the blue team. Oh. Or at least it should be. Meanwhile, once again, spider mines are on the way. We have a siege mode being researched. Scan does reveal the add-on on the factory, so mech is confirmed. Scan reveals the Stargate. It is going to be the initial Oracle opener. Getting one drone. Ooh, does fall. Not worth it. And not quite worth it, but do you see what I see? I see Stargate into what? Into Gateway Explosion. Early blink here from DefMars. A much more aggressive build from our Protoss player. Much more aggressive, much more assertive. Is shifting gears entirely. And I believe the blue team has yet to confirm. Yeah, has no idea. Now, I say that, seeing the lack of any kind of production on the Stargate is a tell, right? There should be Phoenixes, and there isn't. So lack of Phoenixes is a tell that there's a higher chance it's going to be either a Twilight Council follow-up or a Robo follow-up, one or the other. I believe we have U-238 shells on the way. Still going to be mech here from ZaRDieNT. True. Still mech, so no deviation from our Terran player. But the Bio Army does move out. MilkiCow does move out, does catch out one of the vultures, not bad. Guess who? 3? Not quite. 2 vultures do fall. Nice shocking here from MilkiCow. Meanwhile, Temple Archive, so blink into Storm. Stalkers have amassed. In my mind, we would have been more aggressive here if the plan was not to be active. This third base is late. Yeah, late third base out of DefMars. We could have seen something more economic. Scan reveals all the winged Stalkers. And DefMars, he won't have as strong of a supportive army here. Okay. Yeah, not as much. He's being active on his own. Moves out with his winged Stalkers. I'll find some damage. We're just poking in, just trading, recalling back home. Nothing major. ZaRDieNT likewise setting up his minefield. Setting up all the mines. Establishing his third. Again, it's going to be once again a bit of a longer game. We have a slower start. We're slowing down, Pat. We're slowing down. And because we're slowing down, that's why I'm not really fond of the setup that DefMars has. Again, like getting into the mid to late game here, it's going to be a bit of an awkward road for DefMars. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't start charge. It's a very Stalker heavy. Stalker High Templar, of course. But it'll take him longer to max out. It's a more gas intensive army, I should say. MilkiCow is clearing the path. Vultures, they rotate. The main army comes in. Okay. ZaRDieNT is pushing. Scan reveals the army. How many tanks? We got 9, 10. 10 tank reinforcing. Storms, they move in as well. Again, we do have to be more active. Storm is on the way. Here comes the Templar. Here comes the mass storm. And we're just trying to wedge ourselves in towards the third. Oh, nice link. Does catch some queens. Massive storm here on the Lings. Oof. Lings, they get shut down. And I was concerned about this army scaling into a longer game, but if we're just going for a big 3-base all-in, like, nah, this can work. This can work. Show us the storms. Oh, storm on the tanks. High Templar exposed. Yeah, they're going to be targeted. Oof. 3, 4 Templar going down. Lackluster storms. DefMars did overextend. We'll take down the expansion at least. But again, if the High Templar were saved and if they were used a little bit more wisely here, I feel like we could have broken the main expansion. The fourth specifically. With that, all the Templar went down. Stalker's still looking for a way in. Which was attempted to run by. Ooh, nice snipe. Nice snipe on the Viper. DefMars is still looking for a way in. Vultures, they make the way into the natural. They hit the mineral line. No major damage, but a couple of SCVs. A couple of SCVs are going down. War Prism in towards the main. Okay. Going for a massive charge at Warp in. Yes, I'll say get into the main base. At the same time, Fleet Beacon's on the way. We are now working towards Sky Toss. We're getting there in a bit of a later fashion, but we're getting there nonetheless. As I'll say to get into what, 2, 3 different mineral lines. Another base going to be on fire. Blue team is out of position. Yeah, CC's burning down. Main army's pushing in. We have how many Vipers here? 5. 5 Vipers. Oh. Catching up 5 Vipers. Good rotation. Does say, oh, Vipers get thrown away. They get feedback. Here come the storms, and this low ground base should fall. Like, there's no defending this. And once again, the blue team's just being outpositioned. I mean, I say outpositioned, a little bit just came down to the counterattacks, right? The drop play, the War Prism, so much damage going back into the storm. And MilkiCow and iosup, they just cannot keep up. Not like this. Not like this, man. Ducksy what he can. Catching out a couple of Goliaths. Meanwhile, Mass Vulture gets into, Mass Zealot gets into another mineral line. Catching more of the production. Ooh, we were trading against Goliaths. Nice trades with the Zealots. Oh, and iosup all in. Yeah, he's all in. He just has Mass Hydra moving out across the map. Okay. A bit of a Hail Mary play. A Hail Mary move, just rushing everything across the map. No, the Spider-Mines! Oh my god. Spider-Mines go up. Tempest have arrived, and iosup will lose the entire Hydra army here. As a handful of lurkers, there was a ping here for a scan. Catching on 5 lurkers. Yeah. And unfortunately, there was no unity here. It was iosup on his own, and now it's MilkiCow on his own. He's on his own. Yeah, bleeding out more tanks. You could sense the frustration from the players because they were just pinned back home and they couldn't really achieve much. The counterattack was too little too late. We needed that much sooner. Oh, it's High Templar exposed. Decent storms though. Decent storm. ZaRDieNT pushing right down mid. That's a massive siege line. Lurkers, they do try to engage. We have a skin. Oh no. These lurkers, these tanks are being cleaned up. Yeah, they're being cleaned up. No detection, no scans. Lurkers, they're just going to town here on the tanks. Now we get the scan. Yeah, a bit of a late scan there from ZaRDieNT. But DefMars, he can do this on his own, to be honest. Solito, baby, solito. Except he needs scans. Up. Ducks 2. Kills 1. As Tempest, they just work their way through the tank line. Yeah, there's no answer this time. In the previous game, there was a little bit more counterplay thanks to the Mass Valkyrie, which did eventually win the Battle in the Sky. But again, you can argue that we overinvested into Valkyries and there was just not enough on the ground as a result of that. But here, the Marine Goliath, it is struggling. You can see them stumbling amongst each other, trying to rotate, trying to keep up. Tempest rotate to the top side. Oh my god. Massive storm in the army. The choke point is working against him, Pappy. Brutal storm. At the same time, ZaRDieNT pushes in, both players pushing on their respective sides. Tempest into the Terran. Mech into the Zerg. And now we've done it. At this point, we can just collapse in, we can get on top of the tanks. GG gets called, and both ZaRDieNT and DefMars will take game number 2. They'll take a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. A different style, thankfully. When it came to the early to mid game, we did see a much more aggressive style out of ZaRDieNT and DefMars, going for the initial early blink timing and early storm. I do think that if they had a little bit more... if they were a little bit more attentive to the army, I think they could have killed then and there, to be honest. But they were at least able to gain map control and hinder some of the expansions and contain their opponents on a low base count. And you saw the frustrations, right? You saw the frustrations out of iosup and out of MilkiCow, where they couldn't really stop the advance, they couldn't really stop the aggression, they were stuck with all the supply, and eventually they were forced to counterattack. But remember, that was after all the Zealot harass. Zealot harass was brutal, getting Zealots into the third, the main, the natural, the fourth base as well. They were all over the place, catching production, catching SCVs, crippling the economy, and also keeping the army pinned back, keeping them busy and allowing the opposing team to maintain that map control and get further and further ahead and just mass expand. GG. GG, well played. With that, ZaRDieNT and DefMars, they're up 2-0 in this best of 7, and we'll see if MilkiCow and iosup will adjust. Again, typically when it comes to bio like Brood War Terran, it is viable, but it's usually more aggressive and more assertive. We've been seeing these more economic builds out of MilkiCow. I want to see something more here out of MilkiCow, but we'll see. We shall see a spawning in the bottom right hand corner. In the bottom right hand corner here of New Bed of Chaos, we have the Brood War Terran. The Brood War Terran, we have the SE2 Zerg. For 3D Clan, it is iosup and MilkiCow. And in the top left hand corner, we have, oh, we're mixing okay, we're mixing things up here. I appreciate it. We have the Brood War Terran play. Sorry. We have the SG Terran. We have the SG Terran this time, and we have the Brood War Protoss. We have DefMars and ZaRDieNT. I appreciate it. I was gonna say that things would get a little bit more dull if we just keep seeing the same kind of races with each other and the same kind of styles and builds. But thankfully, we do have a bit of a race swap here. DefMars is now playing Brood War, and ZaRDieNT is now playing SE2. Now, what I will say is that Brood War Skytoss is weaker. True, Brood War Skytoss is weaker. Interceptors and carriers, they can be okay when massed up, but getting to Skytoss as the Brood War Protoss is very difficult. So we should be seeing a more mid-game centric army and mid-game centric composition. We'll see how we handle ourselves in the mid-game. Meanwhile, welcome to New Bed of Chaos. We do have a shared main, we have a shared and natural expansion. The third bases do veer off in different directions, and they're a lot more exposed. You can see here, there's a low ground third base on the left-hand side. We have a high ground third on the right, so this third base on the right-hand side is more secure. That should be for the Zerg player, so much more secure third and fourth expansions for the Zerg. Much more exposed third and fourth expansions for MilkiCow. Oh boy. I'm sure at some point we'll be seeing iosup switch to Brood War Zerg and MilkiCow switch to SE2 Terran at some point. So far it looks like the same build, looks like 3-rack stim. 3-rack stim, but no stim timing here. Again, my biggest criticism for MilkiCow is that he has not been going for early academy and early stim timings. He's been playing more defensive and more passive with this bio. Whereas I feel like the strength here are the earlier timing attacks, but you have to be lined up with your teammate as well with this. Gotta be synced up. Otherwise, it is going to be a Robo opener, which is standard. The go-to opener in Brood War Protoss, which is very limited, is to go Robo into the Bay, into the Shuttle, into Reaver drops. So Reaver drop builds are very common in every single matchup. That's my biggest criticism about Brood War Protoss, is that the viable openers and viable builds feel quite limited and quite restrictive. We're getting into our own Reaver drops. Right, ZaRDieNT getting to a very fast third CC, okay. Second factory, ZaRDieNT, despite playing SE2, is still playing mech. So he's getting into mech, meching it up. Fast third CC. First Reaver's on the way, that is shuttle speed. I think it's called like Gravitic Drive, I think. It's been a little bit too long since I've casted SE Evolution, so some of the upgrade names, I'm reaching a little bit. But I think it is Gravitic Drive. As the Bio Army has built up, once again, the Academy is still working on Stim. Yo, that Academy sounded so nostalgic to me. The nostalgia. Building up our Reavers. When it comes to our Zerg player, oh, this is different. Early Eva Chamber, early +1. Most likely into Ling Hydra, but this could also be Ling into Ultra Tank. Can be Ling into Ultras. Obviously later on down the line. Assuming that we stay on a low gas count, as you can see here, no gas at the natural, no gas at the third. We'll see that trend continues. Meanwhile, the first Reaver has arrived. Oh. Heli's a poke in. Rear shots mainly on Zerglings. And so far, blue team is defending. Blue team does defend. Reaver drop into the main. Up. Nice round. Catching up 4 Hellions. Yeah, 4 Hellions get caught. Blue team has momentum. At the same time, Reaver drop in towards the natural. Gets 1 shot off. Oh my god. Catching out 3 more drones. Wasting a shot of Marine. And we commit. Yeah, Lings are committed. Remember they have plus on melee. The Reaver shots though, are they being wasted? Yeah, the Reaver's on A move. The Reaver's on A move are wasting shots. No target firing, but despite that, we'll still hold. Does still hold, does still defend. As Reavers, they keep dropping. Oof. Catching out more drones, crippling the economy. Oh my god. Tracking the shot into more workers. The scab shots, they chase, baby. They chase. Back into the main. Oh my god. How many drones are we down to? Down to 17. Less than 1 base saturation left here for iosup. Aye. There's no drones. There's no drones. There's no economy. The 1 Reaver drop. Ooh, the Reaver went down. Reaver went down. The drop has now finally ended, but that was well worth it here for DefMars. Well worth it. Likewise, ZaRDieNT is massing up his own mech army. More tanks, more Blue Flame Hellions. Double armory, double upgrades. And coming into the mid game here, I have to favor the red team. Like, they've just done so much harassing damage. And we're still not done. Here comes another Reaver. Another drop. Oh. Ooh, doesn't get the shot off. Remember, cannot shoot to the low ground. Nice catching up the Marines. Shot goes off on the... Oh, only on 2 Marines. And let's get out of here. Yeah, has to pull away. The shuttle goes further in. A bold move. This is risky. Commits into the bases. Once again, going for the mineral line. The shuttle is low on HP. Oh my god. Catches 2. Yeah, 2 drones, and it's going to be a 1-way trip. There's no shot the shuttle gets out of this. No shot. The Queen! The Queen pops off. Oh my god, gets it. That's 4 drones. 4 more drones go down. Aye. The shuttle is trapped. At the same time, we are building up the army back at home. Another shuttle, another Reaver. Storm is almost done. And Broodwar Storm does hit different. It hits different, man. I was trying to bait the army in. Here comes the storm. A bit of waste. Doesn't quite land, a little bit too premature. But again, Broodwar Storms do hit harder. As DefMars does find a shot up. Oh no! Oh my god, massive connection. And he gets another. Better splits. Better splits out of MilkiCow. Oof. Reaver does get away. Nice control here from DefMars. And nice control. Oh no! The shuttle! No, I spoke too soon! Leaves the shuttle idle. Shuttle goes down. I believe that was the last Reaver. Yes, that was the last Reaver. Shuttle does F2 back home and won't make it. Yeah, will not make it. We do have a Stargate on the way, and I believe we're getting ready. We're thinking about Sky Toss. We mentioned at the beginning of the game when we saw Plus on Melee that this could be a Ling into Ultra, and it is. Hey, a Ling into Ultra Tech. Not an uncommon style. Working towards Mass Ultra. Behind this, a solid economy here for our making for both red teams, both red players. Yo, Esther Avex, Pappy. Good morning, Pappy. Good morning. I say good morning. Good morning because I'm assuming that you didn't just, or that you just woke up. Oh my god! Yeah, massive storms. I'm assuming you didn't stay up, correct? As Hellions are getting caught out. Nice around, nice catch. Hellions are caught, but we still need more damage here. Arbiters are now on the way. Is that Kadiran Amulets? I believe that is the energy upgrade for the Arbiter, if I'm not mistaken. I think. I'll be honest, it's not too often that we get to see Arbiters in SC Evolution, so I appreciate it. We don't often get there. Need to sleep at 3 hours. Good morning, baby. Good morning. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Ay. Not like this. That's recall. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you for letting us know. Recall. I mean, nice rotation here, catching a 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks. Yeah, a lot of tanks do go down. Red team caught out of position. Nice storm here on the tanks. Ooh, and likewise, 4 tanks also get caught out. Army just rotates. We have to get the hell out of here. MilkiCow does them away. Gets High Templar. Templar does pull back. Recall, Stasis, plus Energy are the available upgrades unless they change anything since I've been gone. I mean, there haven't been any, I think there was one patch, what, last week? There was just one patch. Which did have some major Brutal Protoss changes. I mean, I say major, it's like, some decent changes. But I think that's it. There hasn't been much that's changed. They reworked the scout for like the 6th time. They did some big scout changes. They also did mess with the I almost said disruptor with the Reaver. A little bit. Makes sense since Soul Chain was done? Yeah. For sure. Meanwhile, oh my god, he recalled the tanks in. Okay, let's go. Recall the tanks in. No shot. We were not paying attention. We missed it. He recalled in, Batty. 2v2. He's crazy. Yes, he does get until the production. Ultras will clean this up. I mean, there's Cloak. Oh, no detection. Yeah, no detection here. No detection. There we go. There's a scan. He does finally scan. The Ultras, they clean up every single tank here. Was the recall worth it? Was it worth it in the end? Ay. As more tanks are somehow waddling in, yeah, we just throw them away. ZaRDieNT throwing away tanks. Calm down, Pappy, calm down. As ZaRDieNT does permanent supply. I will say that that likewise though, we haven't had the best economy here for blue team, so we can rebuild, we can remax. DefMars and ZaRDieNT, I mean. Storms coming in. Oof. Jesus. It's a lot of storms. Zoning back the ultras. Gotta respect the storms. You know, DefMars rebuilding those arbiters. Tanks are caught on siege, not bad. Does go for Blinding Cloud. Tanks, they do get thrown away. Oh, let's do get thrown back. Oof. Mass storm of the ultras. Ultras are gonna get thrown away. And that was a recall. I was curious. I was like, that's the vortex effect. What just happened? He recalled across the map. He saved the tanks with the recall. True. That's actually so sick. We just keep recalling tanks. Oh my god. DefMars, calm down. Calm down. Yeah, recalls the tanks over. Again, I was so confused when I saw the effects because I'm like, again, it's been a while since we've seen recall, but I was like, vortex isn't a thing. What's going on? Ah. He got sucked across the map. Yeah, and with that, the red team is just snowballing out of control. More base is going to be going down. Ooh, the Dragoons, they get left idle. No, they get left idle. Dragoons, they'll get thrown away. Yeah, lack of control there from DefMars, focusing elsewhere. Hey, Rico is crazy. As nice Blinding Clouds, the ultras, they should be able to clean up all the tanks at least. Storms, they come in from behind, catching out the Terran army. Yeah, both Terran armies get caught. As ZaRDieNT's tanks, they fall to the ultras. Meanwhile, the tanks all that MilkiCow falling here to the Protoss. To DefMars. But again, blue team is broke. Unfortunately, I think blue team is just completely broke here. When it comes to the Zerg economy, we have a one base saturation. That's all we got. Ultras are expensive. iosup has nothing left. Meanwhile, when it comes to MilkiCow, I can say the same. MilkiCow also has a very limited economy. Also on a one base, nothing in the main, nothing here at the natural. One base economy. We're broke. Oh, and we're just pushing into the siege line. So we get some Blinding Clouds. Does Blinding Cloud, mass storm here on the ultras. Yeah, it goes to the storm, and the ultras, they're going down one after the other. The Dragoons, they just hold their own. They take them down. One ultra left, down to 0. Yeah, there's the Arbiter, there's a Cloak. And with that, that was the final push. The final fight here for the blue team. That's all they had left. GG gets called. And with that, DefMars and ZaRDieNT, they do claim another win. They take another game. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A much more chaotic back and forth game is what I will say. I mean, I say that we did see the Reaver drop opener just crippled iosup so much so early on. What did he go down to? 17 drones in the mid game. It was brutal. He lost 2 mineral lines to the Reaver drops. The Reavers, they just got out of hand. They got out of control, and we saw that iosup could not keep up, not against the mass Reaver harass. So he fell behind early on, and he was not able to really keep up with the rest of the players. We had some nice moments from when it came to MilkiCow, when it came to his rotations, but in the end it was the recalls that really did shine here, whether it was recalls, aggressing across the map, or even saving units as well. Non-stop aggression out of the red team, and with that they do claim game number 3, and now we're going to be loading into game 4, potentially the final game of the series. Potentially going to be loading into Rohana. Here we go. Oh, as we are switching things up quite a bit here. Okay. Once again, we are switching races. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Rohana, we do have the... we have the blue Terran play. We have once again the Brood War Terran alongside the SC2 Zerg. It is MilkiCow and iosup. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the red team. We do have the Brood War Protoss and the SC2 Protoss. It is DefMars and ZaRDieNT. Oh boy. Let us go. Double Protoss. I mean, typically in 2v2s, mirrored teams are the worst thing you can have in 2v2s. Double Protoss, double Zerg, double Terran is typically worse off than a mixture of the two, just because you don't really cover yourselves and you're just kind of lacking when it comes to the utility you have to support your opponent, or your teammate I should say. But how does that work in StarCraft Evolution? Because I will say there are some similarities between the two versions of the game, but they are different races, right? Like SC2 Protoss and Brood War Protoss are very, very different from each other. So this is kind of in effect two different races here working together here, and they can help try to cover up each other's holes, be more aggressive, be more active, and kind of make up for each other's deficits, I should say. And we'll see how we all come together here. We'll see how we build up. Curious. Again, Reaver Drop openers are common, so I'm leaning towards Reaver Drop play out of ZaRDieNT. We could see some Blink aggression out of DefMars. We could see some Sky Toss. We'll see. Bugs me so much as the texture messily painted underneath the decal below the town hall in the main, kind of sticking out. Ah, no. I like this. Do you mean like the off-colored this? You mean this? Like the off-color like ground? It's like sand, it looks like? It looks like sand as opposed to like the clean. Yeah. Yeah. I understand. I understand. It's fine, don't worry about it. Look, it kind of fits with the theme, you know, that there's like some sand patches here and there, you know, it's fine, it's fine. It's just a very messy base, okay? They haven't swept up yet. There's no Roombas, there's no cleaning bots. True. There's no bots. But otherwise, a big shout out to Pekaweta. No. But shout out to Pekaweta. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 15 months. Oh my god, over a year of support. Thank you so much, Pekaweta. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Don't look at the main ever again. What do you mean? You mean this? Now, I can't unsee it either. Okay, I'm gonna blame you, Apex. I cannot unsee it. Cannot unsee the messy main. As we are going for an early stim timing, so this time we do have a proper 3x stim timing here out of MilkiCow. Does commit. At the same time, we have shield batteries, we have cannons to defend, and we have a depths on the way here for DefMars. Ay. So it is still going to be the Reaver Drop opener out of ZaRDieNT, but a declare the depths instead. And we'll see if the players can hold here against that early stim timing. Now, thankfully for our Protoss team, it is only the Bio Army here. There's no link support. For the most part, we're just droning. For the most part, iosup is just droning, just taking. iosup is being very, very greedy, going up into lair tech. Because of that, one lone Terran cannot break this natural. We'll threaten the Cybercore, though. Cybercore is threatened. Does catch fire, and will go down. So nice pickoff. But that is not stopping what comes next. That is not stopping the Reaver Drop. This amount of adepts should be a tell. Should be a tell here for the Terran. Here comes Grudic Drive. This feels late. Wait, what? Maybe because of the early aggression here and the early investments, but Grudic Drive is delayed more so than usual, as it's usually lined up with the first drop. We're done with the army. He commits. Oh my god. The glaives are now done. Glaives are ready, and Marines, they get bullied back. They're gonna get the hell out of here. No, the medics. Yeah, medics are falling. Diving on the final units. And remember, there's nothing from the Zerg. There's no, like, we've been so greedy here, droning up to how many? Droning up to 53. Yeah, drone did saturate. We have Lings on the way to defend. These are going to be 0-0 vanilla Lings. Boys are being pulled. SCVs are going down. And MilkiCow, everything's just on fire here. Oh, God, losing so many SCVs. And here comes the Reaver. He's coming. Oh my God. One shot goes off. And one shot goes off. So far, a very efficient trade here for the Protoss. Reaver did take a lot of hits on the way, though. And that was mainly focusing and fixating damage here on the Terran. Meanwhile, the Zerg player has gone away with their economy now from here, going to 1-1 upgrades. Is that the Hive? Wow, rushing into Hive Tech. I believe the goal is to rush into Ultras. Attempting to rush into Ultra Tech. We'll see if iosup can survive long enough to get there. Meanwhile, the third base is surrounded. Does force a cancel. Reaver is able to defend. Items to get across the map, and there's not much at home to defend. Yeah, once again, the boys are being pulled. Once again, MilkiCow sacrificing his economy. Oh no, it's the only way. Nice kiting with the Adepts. Ooh, does push too far forward. Yeah, it doesn't kite back. Shades into the main. Lings will clean up. And MilkiCow, he's... Oh no, we're just bullying the Terran. Oh my God. Yeah, massive shots go. Though the shuttle goes down, Reaver as well, but a miscontrol there from ZaRDieNT. Yeah, it does miscontrol. It's cleaned up. In the end, MilkiCow is down to 5 SCVs. Sorry, he's down to 7. 7 SCVs left. MilkiCow, he's out of this game, but who's in? The Zerg. Okay, it does get a full surround. Nice catch here on the 3 Dragoons. Lings, they force a cancel. And here comes that Ultra Cavern. Now, can iosup 1v2? Can he 1v2 with Mass Ultra? I mean, Reavers won't be the worst unit against Ultras, is my big concern, but there aren't that many. And ZaRDieNT did lose a lot of Reavers, so the Reaver count is non-existent. It is Mass Adept. Where are we teching, by the way? But Interblink Stalkers, no Robo, no Immortals, by the way. The DefMars, they're not really respecting what iosup is up to. They're not fully aware, but they should be. Seeing Mass Ling, it should either be Mutas as a transition or Ultras, one or the other. And iosup, he was left to his own devices. We got 4 Ultras on the way, and I don't think there's an answer for this. There's no answer. There's gonna be just mass gateway units and 1 Reaver. Yeah, brutal supply block. Second Reaver is heavily delayed. Here comes the army, here come the Ultras, and this can end the game. Now, how many Ultras are? True. Soon to be 5. 5 Ultras, is that enough? He's going in, locks down the Dragoons. Yeah, no reaction, no response. Dragoons are trapped. Adepts are coming from behind, they try to free them. Ultras, they collapse in. Jesus. But no upgrades. Kind of splitting is not done. Yeah, a bit of an anti-timing here. Kind of splitting is not yet done. The Reaver does waddle in. Oh, shot gets wasted. Reaver goes down. A massive pickoff. Yeah, the Reaver does forge. Ultras, they're trying to bust into the natural. 1 Ultra goes down. There's 1 Ultra left. No, just 1. Yeah, 1 left. Does fall. Now, they will take down the low ground. They will take down the 3rd. But they cannot break the natural. Stalkers, they blink away. Once again, Mass Ling moving in. Where's the Reaver shot? Doesn't connect. And once again, no Reaver shots. And we're going for the kill. We're going for the throat. So GG gets called, and he does 1v2. And with that, we have a back and forth. We have a series. iosup and MilkiCow take game number 4. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, they did a great job when it came to harassing across the map and harassing and killing MilkiCow, but there was no immortal transition. Instead, Blink Stalker. There were no immortals behind this. Likewise, Reavers were being killed one after the other. We did not see a Reaver shot towards the end. There was no answer to the Mass Ultra, and the Ling Ultra did flood, did overwhelm. GG. GG. GG, well played. With that, we do have a back and forth series. MilkiCow and iosup, they do put a point on the board. And once again, we are race switching here. Are we going back to basics? Are we going back to what we did previously? We're loading into Reclamation. Yep, here we go. Spawning in the top side here of Reclamation, we do have the Brood War Terran player. We have the blue Terran for 3D Clan. We also have the SC2 Zerg for 3D Clan. It is going to be iosup and MilkiCow. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have our opponents. We have the Brood War Terran, we have the SC2 Protoss. It is DefMars and ZaRDieNT. Let's go. We're here. We are back. Once again, this is kind of how we began the series, and my eyes are on our two players here. We're expecting SkyToss and we're expecting Mech. Now, we have seen DefMars mix it up and go either SkyToss or go for a Blink Stalker regression, go for early Storm. We have seen some diverse play from DefMars, but from ZaRDieNT, it's just been Mech. It's just been Mech, and then Mech, and then more Mech, whenever he plays Brood War Terran specifically. So that is what we're expecting. Now, welcome to Reclamation. Reclamation does have a shared natural, but there are multiple entrances. That I do appreciate. There's two entrances here into the natural base, so there are different angles of attack. Likewise, when it comes to the low ground expansions, it is on the low ground. There's high ground behind it, so these are exposed bases that can be difficult to defend, or you can spread yourselves thin and take the bases on the right-hand side instead and try to expand in that way instead. Go for that kind of direction, that trajectory. We'll see how our players will approach this. Let's go. Unfortunately, there's no scuffed textures here in the main. Feels bad, man. As we have our 3-rack stim opener here from our Terran. No surprises here. Going for the 3-racks. Building up. That is MilkiCow's go-to. Here we go. As from here, we do have the Academy now on the way for our Terran player. Again, 3-rack stim. No rush into the Academy, so no rush into stim. It is just going to be more of a mid-game setup, and the probe does confirm. Yeah, there's a ping on the Academy. Every time. I love it. Brings me back to the early 2000s. There's a couple of like key like sound effects that bring me back. It's the Academy sound effect. It is the tank sieging. Like that, I feel like the tank siege like sound effect is very iconic, at least to me. Like hearing the hydraulics move and like the gas dissipate. But that picks into the main base. Ooh, late queen. Wait, what? Yeah, very late queen here, and we do get a drone kill so far, denying mining time. At the same time, Glaives are on the way behind this, so DefMars is going for a very aggressive follow-up. Meanwhile, we do have ZaRDieNT likewise going into his own mech army, but going into spider mines, not rushing into siege mode. So we're going into a more heavy vulture setup here, much more aggressive build. It's going to be massive glaive adepts and massive vulture. Battlecruisers talking. Yeah, true. Battlecruisers being operational. Just in general, like, yeah. I don't know what it is, but a lot of the Brood War effects elicit more memories to me than the SC2 effects. A lot more iconic. So it's good to hear them again, and good to hear them being used in another way. Oh, the nostalgia. Yo, as we're not just going into Massive Ultra, we're going into Cloak of Wraiths. Okay, interesting. 2 ports at double Wraith production. Let's go. The sound of the Marine shooting from Brood War is more bassy. It is. The SC2 Marine sound effect, it's a little bit more would I say higher pitch? Like it's different, of course. A little bit more hollow. If that makes sense. Just lighter. Which isn't a bad thing. But just different. As now we're getting to ion thrusters. That is going to be vulture speed. And here we go. Now it is go time to get the Mass Adepts, Mass Vulture. We're pushing out across the map. That is an upgrade that I am not familiar with. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen that upgrade before in my life. Huh. Interesting. Is that like an energy upgrade for the Wraith? Question mark? Meanwhile, Wraiths, they do bust into the main. Force the skin. As they distract Adepts, they do bust in. And they annihilate those Lings. Lings are going down. Army does break through. Shading to the mineral line. At the same time, Adepts shading towards the main. Vultures, I feel like they're wasting the DPS here on the left-hand side. There we go. Now they move in. We can get on top of the Queens. No. Yes, some basic control here from ZaRDieNT. Distracted with the race, of course. And the Vultures, they don't really do too much. The Vultures are denied, but Adepts, they did pay for themselves. They did wreak havoc, and drones did fall. Vultures back into the mineral lines. Let's go. They hit the natural. And as it settles here, what do we have left? We have 33 drones for the Zerg player. iosup, his economy has been crippled. I will say that the Terran economy is looking decent. It's okay. He didn't really lose too much in the race, but instead it is the Zerg who is hurting. It is going to be the Zerg. Behind this, we're going to be switching things up. Still more race in production going for the science vessel. Sorry, for the science facility. Still being active and actually going into BC production. Okay, now with the facility going to mass BC. Makes sense to make use of those starports. Meanwhile, when it comes to our Protoss, it's switching to Blink. Blink is now done. Ooh, trying to bait the army into the spider mines. Trying to bait him in. Another race. Ooh, the race get thrown away. Losing 1, 2, 3 race for nothing. And missing control of ZaRDieNT. Oh, nice mine shot. Mine goes off the Marines. Making now 3 BCs at a time. Now double factory. It's double army, double upgrades. And the race, hey, they still find value. Soldiers just had their way with the bio army here, which still just came in production. Catching more units. The Yamato is now on the way. Do we get to see the mass BC come into play? Let's go. The BC is another unit that has been patched again so often over the past year. I want to say like 5, 6 different patches have adjusted BCs. At this point, I remember they did have a recent change when it comes to their attack rate and their HP pool. Previously, they did have a much higher like armor and base armor and base HP, but I think that was reduced. The rationale was that the battlecruiser was less mobile than the SC2 BC, so they tried to make up for that by making it stronger, but it proved to be a little bit too good, so then they kind of pulled back on that, and then they increased the movement speed of the BC instead. So there have been a lot of adjustments for the battlecruiser. A lot of changes. Species, they move out. They start their push. It's time to pure away. Oh. Getting a queen, hitting the mineral line. The Marines, they do have to respond. There's no anti-air for the Zerg. Marines are sim in. Do sim in, and there's no kiting. Ooh, yeah, there's no kiting back here, so one BC should go down. Gets one. Lack of control from ZaRDieNT. Stalkers, ooh, they get caught out as well. Big missteps here from DefMars and ZaRDieNT. Losing BCs and losing Stalkers. Okay, we have to fixate on our unit micro. Yamato going off of the queens. Catching up more drones. The kiting against the bio. Not like this. And DefMars is switching to Sky Toss. We got 2 Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. We're switching it to Sky Toss. Goliath production has begun. That will help, but these BCs, they're just bullying the Marines. They bully. And that's a full mineral line, by the way. That's as iosup did not pull away. Did not pull away his drones. He's still rallying in, actually, so more drones being thrown away. Ultras, they do not shoot up. We have a Spire now. We have some Corruptors, but again, this is so heavily delayed here for the Zerg. Stalkers, they commit in. Oh, it's going to be a one-way trip. He's blinking into the main. We have some BC support, but that's a lot of Stalkers going down. Boys being pulled. Okay, nice economic damage. As boys are pulled into their deaths. BCs, they knock down more expansions. They kill more bases. As again, these Stalkers, they cannot get out of this. Oof. As Yamatos are connecting. Ultras, they go for a massive counterattack. They run through the minefield. Oh, the mines! Oh my god. Yeah, the mines, they punish the Ultras, and with that, DefMars and ZaRDieNT, they've done it. They've done it. They've crippled the economy of iosup. They've shut down the main army as well. MilkiCow still has a force to work with, but he has no economy, not anymore. The Adept harass, the Vulture harass, into Wraith harass, into Mass BC is just too much. GG gets called. And with that, DefMars and ZaRDieNT, they will claim this series. They will claim the ShowMatch. GG. They will claim the series 5-1. GG, well played. I appreciate that we saw some diversity here. The first 2 games were a little bit more one note. If you remember, the first 2 games were just Mech and Sky Toss. Mech and Sky Toss. But we did see that they did mix things up, switching up their races, switching up their builds, switching up their styles. Even here towards the end, seeing Mass Adept with Vulture Harass into Wraith, into BC, into Mass Wing Stalker, into Sky Toss. Like, again, much more diverse play here from both ZaRDieNT and DefMars. I appreciate it. Do appreciate that diversity. GG. GG, well played. They do come out on top. Speaking of diversity, this is my big criticism for MilkiCow, is that he did open up almost the same way every single game whenever he played Brood or Terran. There was one game where he went for an earlier stim timing, but that was only once. That was on Rohana, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was on Rohana where we saw the earlier stim timing. But even then, if you remember, iosup was being hyper greedy, so there was no all-in. There was no aggression plan there. So yeah, it was a little bit lackluster there from MilkiCow. iosup as well was trying to vary things up a little bit. We saw some Ling Hydra Lurker play. We saw some Ling into Ultra quite a lot as well. But outside of that, not much else. Game 1 did have an intense late game back and forth, but again, they had just a really hard time maintaining their economy, and that was the case for the entire series. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. Congratulations to both ZaRDieNT and DefMars for claiming the win and for claiming their series. And with that, we have wrapped up our first show match. Here we go. I say it for a show match because now it is time for the main event. Now it is time for the big names to face off against each other in a best of 9 1v1. We'll get into it, of course, but up next we're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back we will have a best of 9 SC Evo show match between who? Between Classic and Beyond. Oh boy. The best of 9 is coming, Pappy. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a very short break, and when we come back, we will have that best of 9. See you soon in a couple of moments. See you soon.